Hi there, guys. Wow, I've had so many different thoughts kind of bombarding me, not while I'm working, thank goodness, but just in general. And I think some of that, now work with me here, but I really do think some of that is, it's not just Mercury retrograde, it's Venus retrograde, it's Saturn retrograde, it's Pluto. There's like 5 different planets that are all retrograde right now. And thank goodness sequentially they're going to all start going back direct. But I don't think the stars make us do anything or affect us. I think it's a reflective universe. And so I think, so above, so below, that it's just a physical visual representation of the energy that's happening in the physical world. And so it can correlate. Does it matter? I don't know. Does anything matter? I don't know. Sitting and thinking back about a whole lot of years ago in school and how I you guys have heard this, that, sabotaging myself, not believing in myself, not believing in what was possible. Well, frankly, you cannot believe in something that you can't believe. It's like your neurology will not let you do it. It's trying to make sense of everything. And wow, they're just like a billion just little analogies flipping through my head, and none of them are going to make enough sense to share with you. But as I was sitting in that place, my brain wants to say a billion years ago. Well, okay, it was 1974 and 75 and 76 and 77. And finally, 1978, when I passed the RPR, because I couldn't pass the qualifiers in California, passed the RPR to qualify to take the California CSR. And then immediately upon passing the RPR, I started passing the qualifiers because they didn't matter anymore. It's when something matters and you're attached to it and you hook on a desire that is not just a wish, a want, an imagining, a visualization, but an attachment. That's when we start running into trouble. Not trouble, but it's like once you attach to it, you're attached to the outcome. And then everything that's not the outcome is a resistant feeling. It's a resistant thought. And we can't acquire, achieve, manifest what we want when we have that inner feeling of resistance. I want it, but I don't have it. Well, yeah. And as you're wanting it, you're declaring that you don't have it, and the universe always gives you more of what you focus on. It gives you more of what you believe, and you are saying, I don't have it. Now, conversely, you would think affirmations, I should say, I do have it already. But your brain, part of you knows that's bullshit too, because you don't have it. What we're missing is the fact that we're at point A and we want to get to point B, and everything in the middle is I don't have. I want, but I don't have. And I'm here, but I want to be here and I can't get there. Instead of just realizing, you're kind of on a journey. And unless you change the journey, you're going to get from point A to point B eventually. Now, here's the part that I hated, because I did live most of my life thinking that I have to be in control. I mean, somebody's got to be in control. And so I can trust me and I want to be in control. Like, what do I have control over? I don't know. The weather? No. If the sun's going to rise tomorrow, I got hope, but no. There's so much in my life that I don't have control over. And one of the things that a brilliant coach shared with me was, especially when you get in those moments of meltdown, and you need to extract yourself from a situation or get yourself into a better feeling place, is to ask yourself 3 magic questions. You know, what in this situation can I control? What can I control? What can't I control? How do I want to feel? The bottom line is, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel crappy? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to feel whole? Do you want to feel complete? Do you want to feel satisfied? Do you want to feel flowing and easy? Do you want to feel frustrated? How do you want to feel? Because going back to what can I control, what can't I control, will set you free. You can not control what other people do. You cannot control the test that's coming at you today. You cannot control the door slamming in the middle of a deposition and you miss a word and you say, excuse me, and everybody basically in a nonverbal way says, fuck you, reporter. I don't have to say what I said before because I heard it. Everybody heard it. No, they didn't. But your transcript will reflect that because, dear attorney, I have a little parenthetical that says audio disruption. And if that's what you want, then that's what you get. I can't control that. I can only control how I choose to react to the things that are happening around me that I can't control. How do I want to react? How do I want to feel? I don't want to feel resistance. I don't want to feel like I'm, on the edge of a cliff or I'm up against an insurmountable force that is going to take me over and not take me where I think I want to go. This was me in school, trying to get from point A to point B, fighting myself every inch of the way. Now, I can't, because I got a lot of abilities I'm tapping into lately, but I can't go back and predict or, repace what would have happened had I thought about things differently. But I truly believe that if I had accepted where I was in the moment with complete faith and belief that if I do the stuff I know I've got to do, if I reach out for help, if I welcome support, if I love myself, even in a place where I might maybe want to be someplace else, but loving, accepting, being grateful for where I am in this moment, that magic, call it what you want, was going to happen, that I was going to be able to keep progressing towards where I wanted to go. But I was so caught up in being angry at where I was, that was the thing that was partially holding me back. That, and then having those moments of, I can do this. And then the follow-up of, well, what if I can't? Other people have done this, and so I can too. Well, what if I don't deserve what everybody else got? What if there's something, because there's that shame and that guilt that some of us carry with us from being little kids, when we know the feeling, but we don't understand the whole circumstance, that you weren't guilty and you had no logical reason to feel shamed, but you did, because the adults, the world around you, thrust that on you and showed you this is what guilt and shame feels like. And so as you're going along in the rest of your life, there are going to be those moments where you feel that icky feeling and you don't know what it is, and you feel like, here's me, okay, and I there's part of me that says, God, Carrie, you're always talking about you. Are you some kind of narcissist? I'm not trying to be. Trying to step in and be able to voice who I actually am, and put me first. And that terrifies me, because it does look like the narcissistic people in my childhood that were only focused on what was good for them to the exclusion of everything else. So we steer away from that stuff. But had I been able to be in that moment of having a rational adult around me, around you, to tell you that, oh, that feeling you're feeling, it's called shame. Somebody else has shamed you. You don't shame yourself. And there's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is, I fucked up and I did that. Okay, you did that. Accept you did that. A different version of you may not have. A more enlightened version of you may not have. A person who thought it out a little longer may not have, but you did. So own it. It's okay. It's not a death sentence, usually. I did that. So do you need to make amends to somebody else? Go do it. Step up and go do it. Do I need to forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know at the time I did that? Yeah, okay, do that. Let it go. That is guilt, and it's meant to show us something, to be a barometer in our lives. Now, shame is something different because guilt is something you did. Shame is something somebody else put on you. They made you feel shame. And then you grow up and you'll, in a lot of ways, can try to convince yourself that I have nothing to be shameful of. There were moments in my life when things around me weren't working well and I was being misunderstood, not understood, ignored, passed over, and my brain, my body felt horrible. I had that icky feeling in my body and I didn't know what it was. Couldn't put a name on it. It just felt horrendous. And come to find out, a whole lot of years later, from studying neuroscience and all the stuff that I've been exposed to, that feeling, what it was telling me irrationally, was from a 3-year-old, from a 4-year-old, from a 5-year-old. And it said, you have done something wrong. Feel that feeling in your body. You've done something wrong. You don't even know what it is, so you can't fix it. But everybody else knows, and somebody's going to call you on it, and you're going to get in trouble. If you can pull that, I mean, that was life-changing for me to realize, well, that's not happening now. But part of me didn't, it was still triggering me to have that response from early on, because that was what I was conditioned with. So if you can start being aware of those things, your life will change. But while we're in school, we're in those moments of we're constantly fighting ourselves. I deserve this, maybe I don't. I'm working hard, I should be getting this, but I'm not. And we're constantly jumping from the step that we're on into being pissed that we're not on the next step. And we don't ever stop. Well, some of us do, but we don't really ever stop to look at all of the freaking steps that it took to get us to the step that we're on, that we're pissed about being at now. What if we took the accomplishments of the past, regardless of how long it took or what a struggle it was? I mean, you did that. You got from, what kind of thing is that machine? How many keys are on that? You got from there to where you are right now in this moment. You did that. And you're not going to go backwards. You can't go backwards. That's like saying, when they talk about in court, you can't unring a bell. The bell of accomplishment has been rung for you, and you are here. The idea is to take that accomplishment from the past and hold on to that belief that if you can do that, you can do what's next. And if you can stand out of your own way and say, I don't know how fast everybody else is going. I don't even know how fast I'm going. I just know I'm showing up consistently, persistently, in a dogged determination that I am going to do this thing. I eat, I sleep, I drink it, I breathe it, I dream it. And this is part of my journey. And I can't skip it to get to where I want to go. I can't. Some of the steps are going to be way easier than some of the other ones. And everybody's journey is different. So the person who's, going 3 steps past you, don't look, put your blinders on and keep going. I used this analogy when I was working with a student last night, and I thought, that's brilliant. That it's like, there's the person sitting next to you, like hypothetically, online, in class with you, making better progress than you, or not making the progress that you're making. Maybe they're the ones sitting looking at you and saying, why can't I do it as fast as they're doing it? It's like we're horses in a race and we got blinders on. So we can't see the horses on. There's a reason they do that. They don't want the horse to be distracted by activity outside of the horse. So they put blinders on them. The race starts, the horses take off, and there are some horses that just say, I don't know what everybody else is doing. I'm just going to do what I know I can to the best of my ability. I'm going to show up every time. Court reporting analogy floating in here. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to do the thing I know I have to do. Maybe there's other things I could do. I don't know them yet. I'm not going to beat myself up for that. I'm just going to keep showing up and doing the work. The work will work if you work it. Always. Now, that's somebody making progress, regardless. I stumble, I fall. I didn't get out of the gate as fast as I want, but I have endurance. I have something maybe the other horses don't have, and I don't care. It's not about them, it's about me. It's about my journey. There may be another horse in the stall down the way, and that horse has blinders on, and that horse says, okay, we're going to run a race today. All right. Okay. Well, I don't feel like it. Somebody's going to put me in the ass and get me to pull out of the gate and get going. But do I have to run my fastest and get myself out of breath and like push myself to that point of almost can't endure the physical thing I'm asking myself to do? I don't do that. I'm the horse that just says, can we just get by? And that's okay. And I'm going to start again next week. Or, well, I was doing really good, but I'm not passing the tests I deserve to pass. And so why bother? Why bother? It's not working. It's not working for me. And then you slide on that for a while, and then you regroup and you get some determination back and you say, well, I'm mad at this. I'm going to give it my all. For how long? Who knows? There are different people out there trying to attack this thing in different ways. And I'm here to tell you, if you just shut up and show up and do the thing, and if 5 minutes isn't working, do 20. And if 20 minutes isn't working, do an hour. And if just taking it down isn't working, then transcribe it out. I love Molly Cooper for so many reasons, but part of the magic she shared with me was that one day it occurred to her that her real job was not just taking down the words. That was half of her job, taking down the words. The other half of her job was getting it out on paper into the world. This is my part, replicating on paper exactly what I heard. So if somebody reads it, it is what was said, not just the words of it, but the dashes and the paragraphs and the inflections and the ellipses at the end of the sentence. That transcript reflects, to the best of my ability, the experience that I had in that room with those words coming from those people. That's my job, to capture that stuff forever. It is the most honorable calling, and it's not just for the moment. It's for all times. Some of you have heard my story about my little transcript from early in my career that wound up at the United States Supreme Court being quoted. And of course, the first thing that went through my mind was, oh, did I do something wrong? No, you were just in a trial where there was an incredibly intricate issue being discussed, and you were so young, you didn't know what they were talking about, but by God, you got the words. You got the words. And that case was appealed, and then appealed to the state court, and then appealed to the state Supreme Court, and then eventually made its way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And there, in a little note on the bottom of the citation, is my transcript. I did that. This stuff is important, what we do. And so when you're at point A, beating yourself up, please look way past point B and stop beating yourself up for what you haven't accomplished up until now, because you can change your life in every moment of every day just by changing the way you think about it, just by allowing yourself to be in the moment, to be grateful for where you are, to step up to the plate, to do what you know you need to do, and to stop bitching about what you haven't gotten that you think you deserve. Because that's not a vibration that's going to take you where you want to go. Some people don't even stop to think about that they're pissed, that they're not where they want to go. They just keep going. They just relentlessly keep going. You guys have a great day. It's September. Woo! New month. Going to be new season. Going to be new life. CSR results are out today. Love you guys.